Hi, LaSalle. This is Ms. Maney. I want to share another of my favorite books with you. This was one of my favorites from when I was a kid, and it's called The Mitten. It was adapted and illustrated by Jan Brett, and the pictures are incredible. I hope you like them. All right, it goes like this. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow. At first, his grandmother Baba did not want to knit white mittens. If you drop one in the snow, she warned, you'll never find it. But Nicky wanted snow white mittens, and finally, Baba made them. After she finished, she said, "When you come home, first I will look to see if you are safe and sound. But then I will look to see if you still have your snow white mittens." So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. Do you see his mitten? A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size, so he decided to stay. Do you see the mole going into the mitten? A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten, and he wiggled his way in, feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he moved over. Next, a hedgehog came snuffling along. Having spent the day looking under wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being ones to argue with someone covered with prickles, they made room. As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. When he decided to move in also, the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled. But when they saw the owl's glinty talons, they quickly let him in. Up through the snow appeared a badger. He eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left, but when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose into the air, and a fox trotting by stopped to investigate. Just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy. The fox poked his muzzle in when the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth. They gave the fox lots of room. How is it gonna fit in there? It's a big fox for one mitten. A great bear lumbered by. He spied the Mitten all plumped up. Not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed as tightly as could be. But what animal would argue with a bear? The Mitten swelled and stretched. It was pulled and bulged to many times its size, but Baba's good knitting held fast. Can you believe that Mitten can hold all those animals? Along came a meadow mouse, no bigger than an acorn. She wiggled into one space left and made herself comfortable on top of the great bear's nose. Look at them all in there, so snug. The bear, tickled by the mouse's whiskers, gave an enormous sneeze. Ah, 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 achoo! The force of the sneeze shot the Mitten into the sky and scattered the animals in all directions. Oh no! They all went flying. On his way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost Mitten silhouetted against the blue sky. Look at it flying in the air from that sneeze. And Nicky just happened to see it on his way home. As he ran to catch his snow-white Mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First, she looked to see if he was safe and sound, and then she saw that he still had his new mittens. Look at them. Can you see them? One is normal size and the other one is so much bigger. The end. This one teaches us a great story. It's not just about what color mittens you should choose, though perhaps white wouldn't be wise. But it also kind of reminds us that sometimes we think that when we're playing our games with our friends, we have enough people. It's too hard to add another person or another person. But we can always make room for more. When we're having a good time or when we're close quarters, there's always room for more. So never turn anyone away. All right. Hope you're having a good day. I miss you very, very, very much. And I'll see you soon.